Welcome back to some of the most professional StarCraft 2, the Dreamhack Masters Valencia Grand Finals. A best of 7 between the best of the best in the entire world of StarCraft 2. And needs no introduction, but I gotta justify my presence here. Put your likes and subscribes together for the Terran player who creates his own balance, one way or another. In the top right, in the blue, it's the man, the myth, the Maru. Just constantly forcing Terran players to try to imitate him, but even the best of the rest is no comparison with the original. The same, in many ways, can be said for his opponent, battling his way through the rest of the field and ensuring an all-Korean finals. I give you, in the bottom left, in the red, Dark, the final boss. Called that because he is one of the very few Zerg players. Usually we talk about Protoss, like Zest. Only 2 minutes this time. But one of the very few Zerg players whose specialty is simply winning. Dark's builds, in my opinion, and general opinion, are not particularly sharp. They're not always groundbreaking or meta-changing. He just is comfortable in playing every phase of the game. He's always waiting for an opportunity to potentially kill you, and many times he takes it. If there's anyone who can deal with Maru's more drawn-out, long-winded, well, that starts things off. First, maybe not first blood, but the Reaper dies to Dark Zerglings. He decided on 6 here on Waterfall, and it pays off. Immediately kills the Reaper. Not like while it's not usually going to change the outcome of the game, I'll tell you as a Terran player, you are not happy about that. That little basic unit that can almost always get in, at least get an idea of if there's going to be some sort of early aggression to follow this up, it's gone. It's gone. And you feel bad about it. Even more importantly, it's shameful. You know that Zerg player chuckling a little bit. The Reaper should never die to slow legs against, if you're being careful with it. But Dark finds a way. Now, like I was saying, Maru, in beating specifically Reynor, who was the shoo-in when Serral was beat by Big Gabe in the qualifiers and decided not to compete in the open bracket. A lot of people wondering why there's a finals without Serral. Well, Big Gabe, we have to thank for that, and didn't decide. You know, I wonder. I still wonder. Serral decided not to compete. This isn't the World Championship, but it is one of the major tournaments of the year. I guess it's nice of him to let others have a chance in the finals. Though, of course, these two are always on the short list. Maru beat Reynor, notably. Reynor is Zerg, which we do have to say nowadays, to get here. With a very long-winded, and in Reynor's own words, Maru's great at camping. If he were a Call of Duty player, he'd be sitting behind a dark corner with a shotgun, essentially waiting for you to step one toe too far and then blasting it off. Except the shotgun is a highly advanced sniper who can also disable all your strong units and snipe you while you can't do anything about it. And against Reynor, he kind of made the Ghost. Many people have said, me and others, I'll claim it. Many people have said the Ghost, not the most fun unit to play against. Not the most fun unit to watch someone sit behind a bunch of planetaries and liberators and start plinking away. But Reynor is also a very aggressive player. It's almost a physical requirement for him to max out an attack. Whereas Dark many times he wins games against players like Reynor and Maru by just letting them make the mistakes. Why attack when you can simply let them break against your defenses? Dark, like, even the way he carries himself, if you've ever watched his interviews, he's so chill. He's just hanging out. Like, after this, you want to go to Jimmy John's and maybe get a footlong or something? And then we'll go to the club and just kind of hang out. Bottle service. Whatever other things chill people do at the club. I don't know. I'm a little out of my element here. I'm not talking about chess club, so we get it, Winter. You're a nerd. Maru comes in frantically, takes out some creep by the beautiful bridges. Well, the swamp water here. That creep only spreads on shallow water. Everybody knows that. And very deep water, like Data Sea. But medium water, no creep. No creep. That's the science fact. Maru with the double drop, still threatening the edges. Dark essentially just kind of let him have this. Got a couple spore crawlers. Maru's, I don't know, maybe I'm imposing, projecting a little, but it feels like a very frantic double drop out here, while as Dark just kind of watched him do it. Like that dog sitting there on the porch waiting for you to get a little too close. Well, some of the Zerglings, is that enough? They have 1-1 done, so they can actually fight. And I think Maru's a little surprised to see the Zerglings doing real damage. Yeah, Maru stood his ground expecting to be able to deal with that, but instead Dark just grinds down the 1-1 advantage literally 10 seconds before Maru has his 1-1 done. This window was so slim, but he slipped through it, and now the Zerglings have ground out quite a lead for Dark. He's lost 37 lanes, but has more than that number back at home. Adding on some banelings, 2-2 burrow, baneling speed, throwing on another hatchery. Yeah, you can expect a lot of that from Dark. He's got that killer instinct. He set up the 1-1 timing. And now Maru, well, cancels the 5th. But a 5th base is details at this stage of the game. Having a comfortable 4 bases is pretty much your late game setup as Zerg. Anything past that for at least the next couple minutes till we're maxed out is a bonus. Keeping those medevacs at bay. The Zerglings now high enough in number. Dark has added on a hive. He's got a macro hatch for the additional larva. I wonder if we're going to see a sprint to Ultralisks. But a lot of the times, the best way to kill Maru is finish him before those ghosts come out. Waterfall is such a small map, though. You don't have a lot of time to set up your defenses before your opponent is right on top of them. The Zerglings just right-clicked on the medevacs, despite their... on both sides. What do you do if you catch the medevac, Zerglings? What then? Well, rip out the Marines and tear it to shreds, of course. 2-2 is done. Maru's still a minute out. Dark has 100 Zerglings and a few dozen banelings. The medevacs on the left and the right flank. Some Zerglings coming back. A handful of banelings actually rolling in. Maru handling that well. And then, oh my god, look at the minimap. Here comes Dark. A massive counterattack. Hundreds of Zerglings. Banelings into the natural. Breaks through the wall. Onto the tanks. Who cares? Double drop the back. The queens will shut it down. Get off my lawn, says Brenda. And Dark bashes through the front. 2-2, upgrading in the background. The only thing that Maru's gonna have 2 of is G's in game number 1 as Dark smashes through. What a command performance on a map that a lot of Zerg players not huge fans of. Wow, straight out of the spawning pool into the victory screen for Dark. Now, I don't think Maru can read too much into that one, but wow, just play like Dark. Simple. I want to point out how thin those timings were. The 1-1, he had about 15 seconds between Maru's 1-1 and his own. 15 seconds, and I don't think Maru expected the 1-1 that quick. Because Maru stood his ground. And Maru is not someone who's just like, I don't know, maybe. That many Marines should have held their ground against even upgrade Zerglings. But Dark just had about 5-10 Zerglings too many. Those are two very different numbers, but... Jimmy. What? The game. Oh, nice of them to make it a little more confusing by changing colors, but I think you'll be able to tell them apart. Ah, just a beautiful. I don't think the mass Zergling style, or the Zergling upgrade, that's kind of a bit of a cheese. It's not like, if it doesn't work, there's a big difference between an all-in and a cheese, and a timing attack. And in fact, since nobody's sending their workers out, I'm going to spend some time explaining them. I'd like to think one of the appeals of listening to my commentary is maybe a little more... a little bit more edutainment, a little bit more ability to learn and pretend like you're going to apply that to your own gameplay. And then actually log into StarCraft and realize, yeah, never mind. Go back to Winter's videos. But a cheese is not just something to clickbait, but instead is something that becomes much stronger when unscouted. Some great examples, like a 12 pool. Those Zerglings showing up. If you don't have a wall, the Zerglings in your base, the classic. For Terran, it's the proxy Rex. Occasionally it can be things like a Hellbat timing, or a battle cruiser, where if you don't have any idea they're coming, they're very strong. But if they get scouted, well, their effectiveness is severely reduced because there's relatively simple counters. An all-in doesn't suffer necessarily. An all-in can be a cheese. Many cheeses are all-in, but not all-ins are cheeses. Not all cheeses, hashtag. But an all-in is something that is very strong either way. It's going to be, almost everything is stronger unscouted. Besides some very specific strategies. But an all-in is something that you've just committed everything towards a certain point. A good example is like a 2-base, 5-racks play from Terran, where you stop building SCVs and you focus on pumping out as many Marines and tanks as possible to get across the map. There's the Roach Ling timings from Zerg, where a lot of the time, even though a Terran will scout it, if you open up 3CC, those timings are going to be potentially deadly. And by all in, it means you're gambling you can at least do severe economic damage, if not win the game. Because if you don't, if they just shut it down, or they don't take enough damage, you're behind economically. It makes it hard to play the rest of the game. And now a timing attack can be either of those two. Just going down the pyramid of StarCraft terminology. A timing attack is not just whenever you decide to move out. A timing attack is almost exactly like Dark did last game. That was neither all in, and it wasn't cheese, but it was the timing when he finished those upgrades. A lot of the key ones you see a lot with Terran. Stim, Combat Shield, +1. With Zerg, their upgrades. Upgrades are almost always what timing attacks are focused on, as that is when you peak in your power. When you peak, they'll know, or at least that's the intent of a timing attack. So Dark, utilizing that 1-1 timing up against Maru to great success. And we'll have to see if he can find those windows again. And of course, these players are so good because they can do all three of those things, and usually combine them together. Dark won't shy away. Dark was actually known as the gatekeeper for many years in GSL. Whenever a new player, especially foreign players, but just in general, would come to GSL, like, I don't know, like a Neeb or a Scarlett or someone, what Dark would do, especially in the early years of SC2, is like they've practiced. They're known as like one of these great macro players. They've practiced every matchup. They practice for their match, and then Dark just 12 pulls them, and then Roach all-ins, and they're out in 6 minutes. This did not happen once. It happened many times. And like, even if you come to expect it, Dark would somehow pick that one style, that one cheese, that you weren't ready for. And even if it doesn't work, here's the thing, when you do stuff like that. Even if it doesn't work, in game one, if you open up with such a committed and tilting strategy, sometimes you're just so off balance. And Dark is just pure confidence. He's just sauntering in there like he owns the place, and like there's not enough people who can quickly say, wait a second, no you don't, sir. Why are you in here? This is a Wendy's. By the time he leaves, he does, by default. Well, we've defaulted back to a very similar style. These overlords. A lot of Obies for Dark just hanging out. Of course, a Viking prompts this. He's got 1-1 on the way again. He's got an advantage of about 20 seconds. A Baneling nest starts alongside the lair. Well, not physically alongside, on the production tab. Idea stands. And it looks like Dark is going down a very similar road to the previous game. Maru starting his armory a little on the early side for his upgrades. Dark is definitely doing this big ling swarm here. 30 more Zerglings in production. Hellions trying to take out some of the creep. Limited success. What are they attacking now? Oh, there are rocks here. Uncosmic Sapphire. Another double drop. We're just playing out essentially the same game so far. Does he want to combine into Hellbats? Maru, a big fan of those Hellbats, actually, lately. Apparently you just walled air. Okay. 1-1 is done. A few dozen Zerglings heading across the map. Maru won't fall for it twice, will he? He picks up a medevac. Oh my god, the door's open. This is a total disaster. This is even worse than last game. Oh, I can't, like... Wow. So I was saying, like, this is the kind of thing Dark would do against foreign players and players he thought he was better than. No, this is just Dark. He's like, yeah, I'll just do the same thing. Except I'll do it even harder. Some Banelings to keep the depot from raising. No, it's already a total disaster. The game isn't over, but he's morphing Banelings in his main. They're not gonna finish, but the worker count plummets to 38. And Dark did not suffer any economic damage. This is not... Oh, another Baneling. Speed finishes. Dark just has Banelings all over the place, almost like a tower defense. 5 more SCVs. This is an utter disaster. Maru, gotta be kicking himself right now. He just did it again. He just did the same damn thing. He's making some spine crawlers here. Just basic drop defense. Wow. Dark shoring it up. Zerg players kind of like, on a matter of principle, have felt like they're like, no, I don't make spine crawlers. Okay, I'll just move my queens and all my units around. Dark's like, no, you know what's even more? Like, let's not get crazy, guys. Spine crawler, just a few. I'm already ahead of like 40 drones. Down to 30 at this point, but... Maru desperate. But this is the difference between a timing attack and that all-in. This was... Ooh. Oh, the Widowmines eventually juggles his way out of it. More Banelings. Dark did not slow down at all back at him. He's got 2-2 finishing up. He's got groove spines. Those Hydra range. In Hydras, especially when you have such an economic advantage, are perfectly fine. Most people have shied away. More like Shydras. They've shied away from the Hydras because in an even money game, the Terran is more cost effective. It's pretty easy to counter that unit composition. They're not a great unit for trading, but they are a pretty good unit for winning. And Dark has decided it's time for winning. 2-2's done. Splits off a single Bane. Has to cancel the 4th. Dark is closing in. There's no units back at home. Maru leaves the door open. He's microing on the other side, and Dark slaps him home. Oh, Dark. So, the source. Well, the problem with these Zerg players, these Serrals and these Darks, I can't say Reynor because Maru beat Reynor, but just I'm upset. I'm upset because this never works for me. Because Dark is playing against Maru, and that's why he's so good in these top tier matches, these best of 7 grand final series. He just did it again. Like, that's not how Zerg is supposed to sit back and get bullied by Terran. That's the early game. We know that you sit back, your queens run around frantically, wishing they could still fly. Okay? And then you take slight economic damage and eventually lose to Ghost. That is how you're supposed to play Zerg. Dark is doing it wrong. But for now, 2-0. Game 3, Moondance. Something, something, pocket base. Something, something, timing. Pocket base, half minerals, gas. Yeah, we know the maps by now. You gotta know the maps. But if you don't, this is the new map pool for StarCraft 2 for the first time, and I think maybe ever, we've switched out all 7 maps with 7 new ones from the Team Liquid map contest. This is one of the more controversial ones with that pocket base at the back. But I think they are beautiful maps, especially, let alone the layout, of course. And this is, in my opinion, one of the sore points of StarCraft 2. Dramatic pause. One of the sore points of StarCraft 2 is because of the strength of the game engine and how reliably many of the units move and deal damage to each other. There are some severe restrictions on creativity when it comes to map making. You have to have a certain amount of space behind the mineral lines, so that way liberators are not untouchable. The cliffs can only be in certain areas or certain distance, because otherwise, blink stalkers, reapers, siege tank pushes can be ridiculously abusive. You have to have a certain amount of distance the creep can spread between the main and the natural, otherwise, essentially all these are examples of Zerg just getting bullied. So, preventing Zerg from getting bullied. You gotta have the little rocks on the bottom of the ramp, so that way you can't build 3 pylons or 2 bunkers and wall it off and make it almost impossible to get down your ramp. Honestly, many of these restrictions have come from people bullying Zergs with terrain abusive units, like the Liberator, the tank, the cannon. In fact, the pylons and cannons may be the most terrain abusive combination of all time. Thankfully, none of them here. We've gotten rid of those. Like in many tournaments before, what we've done is relegated the Protoss to dominating the ladder and pretending like they'll ever get to the finals of tournaments. So, nice to see it once again. Give me your balanced opinions in the I said chat by reflex, but in the comments. The Reaper will live for now. Dark makes 6 Zerglings. Now, this is one of those little details. This is one of those, like, how you can tell the difference between certain players without, if you covered up the names, there are many tells, many like fingerprints that players have. One of them is how they control this phase of the game, like the Ling Reaper duel, what they'll commit to, what their tendencies are, and how many times Zerglings keep getting in the goddamn main. Maru. This has to stop. This has to stop. You can't let Zerglings in your base. They're not cute and cuddly, okay? Not all Zerglings are, and even the ones that are, you probably shouldn't let near your mineral line, okay? Well, the SCV Citizen's Arrest could have been worse, but a full scout here, key point. Look at the worker count. And, of course, this is to be... What? He has a what? I didn't even... I was too busy watching the Zerglings try to chase down SCVs relatively unsuccessfully. There's a Spire on the way. Maru scouted the lair, though. A incredibly, almost uncomfortably quick lair. It's up against a 3cc Terran. This is Dark's choice to try to negate the advantage of having that back pocket base, which is almost invulnerable to ground unless you're already winning the game. That base is scouted. In case Zerglings hadn't gotten in enough places so far. Dark is not banking up. He's gonna have maybe 600 gas before the Mutas. So 5 Mutalist one-shot Marines without combat shield and SCVs. 1 Valley. Very key point. I believe it's about 12 or 13 with no upgrades to get a Widow Mine. So we'll have to see. There are no evolution chambers at all. 5 Mutas. Now, if he adds the +1 flyer attack, then that's an indication it's not just a surprise Mutalisks, but instead this is the strategy, and I love to see it. It's been too long. The reason you don't see the Mutaling Baneling so much is very simply, it's another window thing. It's another tiny opportunity to get damage done compared with a large risk. Mutas are quite a muta risk because these are incredibly expensive units and incredibly fragile. They can get shredded by Widow Mines, Marines, Thors. Rarely do you find an opportunity to get in and get damage done, because the best defense with Mutas is a good offense. And Maru had no idea. This is 3 games in a row that Dark is the one taking the initiative. He's taking the game and driving it in his direction. Maru is playing catch-up. 12 SCVs. 13. Yes, so it's important to note here. It is important to note that Dark did hamstring his economy somewhat to do this. He did not have a 3rd hatchery. He doesn't have evolution chambers until now. He's not going to have upgrades. So it is incumbent upon him to get damage done. He is getting that damage, though. Still has not lost a Muta. Killed 17 SCVs between everything so far. Solid Muta micro. And Maru completely blindsided. Mutas swing in so quick. About as quick as you can get them while still expanding. Dark is fun to watch. I love watching Dark play. He makes it look possible. Watching Serral is like watching a supercomputer. Watching Reynor is like, I don't know, watching an Olympic athlete. Both of them, cool to watch. I'm never going to pull that off. But while Dark's mechanics are... He's no slouch. Okay. But he wins games based on playing smarter and not working harder. Now, instead of 600 APM, just marginally above that of Maru scrambling to deal with this. Now, is there Bane speed? Yes. +1 flyer attack. These Marines do not have combat shield, and they won't for about 15 more seconds, which leaves them very vulnerable to even unupgraded Banelings. 1 siege tank goes down. Here comes Dark. The Marines are kind of clumped up here, but the tanks are starting to get shots off combat shield. Finishes at a fortuitous timing. As Maru steps off the creep and he steps back forward, but another round of Lings and Banes. If Dark is playing carefully, he'll always have that another round. You never want to use all your Banes in a single wave. You need to make that Terran player continually split their Marines so you can isolate them with the Mutalisks. The attack, though, the give and take. Another round of Banes, pre-spreading from Dark. How many Mutas? 17 Mutas. getting to the point of being able to one-shot siege tanks or fight Marines head to head. 1-1 is done. That should be the trigger. Another set of reinforcements. Tank is on siege. Maru is moving back. Here come the banelings from both fronts. Marines are scrambling. Reinforcements coming up to help. The medevacs are out of position. The Ling's overwhelming. The medevac count will dwindle. All the tanks taken out. And Dark, he's only lost 2 Mutalisks. So far, so perfect. This is about as good as it's ever going to get with the Mutas. No Whittle Mines. Just building tanks, says Maru. A very Wings of Liberty-esque Mutaling Baneling. More Marines scrambling. 30 Marines on the field. 34, 8 medevacs against mostly just the Mutas. Finally, the Whittle Mines with drilling claws. Maru reinforcing his anti-air back at home, but Dark has kind of casually taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases, including that back pocket. Start at 2-2, but Maru is going to have an advantage. This is the classic exchange where the Terran player is able to get up to 3-3 upgrades, whereas it requires a high for the Zerg. So, at this rate, there could be an opportunity for Maru to essentially max out on a deadly anti-mid-game army before anything further can kick in for Dark. Thor on the way. Widowmine. Drilling Claws. All this anti-muta. Still no infestation pit out of Dark. He needs to start it soon if he's going to be able to draw even on upgrades. 77 workers. Income just continues grinding up into Dark's favor. 11 mutas more. He's going up to 26, 28. Oh, that is a muta risk. I love that number right around 15 to 20. You can one-shot Widowmans, medevacs. You can deal with a marine drop on its own. But I feel like over 25 mutas is a liability. That is 50, more than 50 supply of mutalisks. You have a lot of army that can be almost immediately evaporated by a wide variety of options that are very hard to prepare for. Well, that's quite a spread here. 2-2 is not yet done for Maru. It's closing in. Once again, mid-fight, those upgrades could be finishing. Mutalisks are cutting off the reinforcements. Banelings trying to roll through again. Oh no, the upgrade's denied. +2 attack, he needs that one. Running through. Widowmines are not at the back. The Banelings crashing through, but the lines of Marines are too strong. The tanks holding. The Marine numbers still intact. And without the 2-2, 3-3 has started. Dark does not break through. The mutas are not enough to clean this up. And a base will go down. Maru finally striking back in this series. Mutas swinging again. Are there enough Zerglings? Mutas being targeted by the Marines. A few more Banelings showing up to the party. Picks up into the medevac. Some of them vulnerable. The muta count down to 5 when once it was pretty much 30. He's lost 26 of them. But Dark's production is still high enough to be able to drive Maru back. So Dark is able to collapse. He actually saved his base on the left side, but the evolution chambers being at the front may have been a bit optimistic. Losing that +2 carapace is definitely going to resonate throughout the game. Something that makes things a lot more difficult as time goes on. That's a lot of time wasted. The upgrades have defined the series so far, and this time Maru has the advantage. 3-3 is closing in. He still has 64 SCVs. Main command center is floating over as he takes that space and builds 3 more racks in his main. We're having the classic Mutiling Bane versus Marine Mine Thor. Few Marauders mixed in, mostly to try to absorb the Baneling hits. Medevacs bringing some Marines back. Dark doesn't want to risk it. He's got +2/+1 mutas. He even upgrades on mutas and Marines. Going in once again on the barracks. Infestation pit just started. That means a hive is a long way off. Dark is maxed out. He's gonna need to wield whatever supply advantage he has in order to overwhelm Maru. Because these are about to be 3-3 Marines and Marauders. A single Widow Mine taken out. The natural Zerglings! They get in. They won't be able to deny the upgrades. There's no upgrades left to be denied, but here comes Dark from every angle. Banelings rolling in towards the fort. More Banelings at the front. The Thor itself. Magic boxing the Mutas. Baneling zoning out. The Muta count starting to dwindle. Where are the Zerglings? No more Zerglings. 3-3 kicking in. And suddenly the army supply is 92 to 58. Maru holds strongly. He loses 22 SCVs, but I bet he lost less than that in army supply. As Dark saw the opportunity to get to the natural, but the reinforcements were enough to drive back the Lings. And now Dark has to scramble with less army supply against better units. Zerglings, yes, in the fort. Oh no, but the Thor's knocking a clump of Mutas out of the sky. The splash damage overwhelming. 2 Thors at the back. Widow Mines drawn into Overseers, but no more Overseers remain. It looks like the Banelings were able to deal with the mines with their splash damage. Maru actually stepped a little far. Oh, well, the Mutas. He's rebuilding Mutas. God, 39 Mutas have died. 7,700 gas to 2,300 lost. Let alone 5,000 minerals lost. Kind of an obscene differentiation. Maru in his element now. He's only got 33 SCVs, so if Dark can hold on, he may be able to grind this back. This army, though, is incredibly difficult to deal with. Marines and Marauders on the front, buffering for the backline Thors. Banelings once again, 16 more. Maru with almost as many SCVs as he started with. The army's gonna have to break through, grinding through the Mutalist. The Thor with barely a quarter of a Thor of HP between them. But how do you beat this army? He needs more Banelings. Dark needs more Banelings. He needs to deal with this once. The medevacs are nearly out of energy. Killing Maru's economy doesn't matter anymore. This is the last army Maru can build, at least for the near future. He's on a mule-based economy. He doesn't even have that many orbitals. He moved his pocket base up north. Where are the Banelings? Oh my god, the Baneling nest was at this base. He rebuilt another Baneling nest. It just finished, right? No, wait. Was that a different game? It was a different game. Winter, you're blending them all together. I was just wondering why he wasn't building any Banelings, and it was because he was poor. Which is even worse. The cost efficiency of the 3-3 bio. Maru ended that game with as many SCVs as he started with. There and back again. A Maru economic story. A dramatic. A roller coaster. A dramatic roller coaster. As opposed to some one of those chill, you know, just mild roller coasters. We'll edit this part out. This is the filler while we load up the next game, right, Jimmy? Cut to commercial break. Put on one of those monitor commercials where they increase the brightness, and they're like, "Look, gaming monitor." Which, to be honest, how would you advertise a monitor? Because, like, what are you gonna do? You're already watching the advertisement for another monitor on your monitor. So it's very difficult to show how a monitor would be better when you're already using this supposedly inferior one. So I do feel like it is difficult to advertise that, but maybe if you got some ideas, maybe I'm just bad at marketing. But every monitor advertisement I've seen has just been, hey look, we turned up the brightness and made it less blurry here. And your monitor sucks, but our monitor does not. I still use a CRT 14-inch monitor to make sure I can see every pixel in all its glory. Speaking of glory, Game 4 of the Dreamhack Valencia 2022 Grand Finals. Maru strikes back. Dark with a clever and well-masked Muta play. But at the end of the day, the Mutas were not. Had very little say. Unfortunately, Maru able to hold on long enough, and the cost efficiency of those bio upgrades kicking in, forcing us into at least a 5-game series. Dark's dominance is receding, and we're on Data C. Our obligatory underwater map. We've seen some of the longest games on this map, as most of the expansions are kind of off to the side, away from your opponent, which, unlike Moondance or Waterfall, means it lends itself to a longer game, because you can't commit to attacking one side of the map without leaving your side vulnerable. And just the general sheer space of the map means the rush distance is quite short. There's about, you can go 20-30 seconds of SCV scouting here without even getting close to a base in the center. I do appreciate that Maru is a player that sometimes will not SCV scout. I think against Dark, it's a good habit to always SCV scout. You never know. Much like Maru, you never know when he's just going to pull out the spiciest and sharpest cheddar. So, great series thus far. I hope you guys are enjoying. Smash that like button. Wake up! That was a great game, but we got at least a couple more. Yes, I know. It's very hard not to zone out when you're watching the Zergling versus Reaper flirtation dance. Where they play will they, won't they for 10 to 30 seconds, and then eventually maybe the Reaper kills one Zergling, or if very lucky, gets the creep tumor before the Queen boxes it out. I like that. Well, screw you guys. Throws the grenade. Refuses to elaborate further. Third command center. 4 games in a row. It is the default. You just get a third command center as Terran now. Okay. That is how it is. The crab beetle runs from the Reaper, where roaches evolved from. The crab beetles of Data C. That's the deep lore of this map. I mean, look at it. It appears we're in for a full series. You can only commentate so many times of the Reaper going across the map, flirting with the Zerglings, and then being added to never mind, oh my god, it's happening. Yes, Maru breaks out. The Fusion Core for the big battle cruisers. It's time. I think he's gonna go mech this game as well, or at least we'll end up with it. Against Reynor on Data C, a very similar, if not identical style. The battle cruiser definitely, it's still a strong option. Honestly, I think we see it a little less than we could, as it just forces such a response. It puts Zerg right back in that position of kind of just having to run around and deal with the Terran, as opposed to being able to take the initiative. Because the battle cruiser is about the flying laser bathtub. You have to keep the Queen. If you make too many Zerglings, then the battlecruiser just stays at home and deals with the Zerglings, much like the Oracle openers of Zerg versus Protoss 2 more factories on the way. It's going to be mech. Maru going to utilize the size of the map here to his greatest advantage. The creep spread already quite far out. Hellions going to have to chew into that if possible. Battle cruiser is complete. So, what is the choice? Jump to the main? Just fly it out? Adds it to the front. The knitting crew reevaluates the situation, but there's still enough Zerglings. The Hellions trying to help out. The Queens are chasing the battlecruiser back. So it appears the answer was just, you know, Queens. Maru optimistic that the battlecruiser would cause panic and help break through the lines, but the Queens hold strong. Their needles drawn and drive back the most expensive unit in the game besides the mothership. A Roachmore in here, as Dark is already suspecting mech, which is the most natural follow-up to this. No more battlecruisers, just the one. Hellions looking for an opportunity, but the Queen's closing in from all sides, and Dark thumbs his nose in the face of this silly build. Unfortunately for him, though, a lot of the Zerglings get caught before that 1-1 timing. Some of them make it across the map, but not enough to cause a panic. In fact, not enough to really do any damage at all. Gets a few SCVs, 1 SCV, a few Hellions. The others can be repaired. Battlecruiser. And while Maru didn't get much done, he's got 70 SCVs. He's got double armory on the way. Zerglings are not a threat. Roaches are still a long way off. Infestation Pit, though, is already on the way. A Nidus. Is this Nidus Swarm Host? That is one way. Dark trying to regain the initiative before Maru can set up and get to put up a tent and start camping. But in response, or at least just in general, the Fusion Core upgrading Yamato Cannon. More battlecruisers is the choice. Maru with the strongest, he's going full mech. Battlecruiser, siege tank, he's walling off his third. The production tab full of these fancy and dramatic upgrades. A Nidus to the north. A lot of players have tried to break Maru when he gets to this more advanced stage. I do want to see how Dark tries. As honestly, sometimes Reynor looked lost dealing with this. But Dark is oh, he brings the Queens! The special sauce. They were there the whole time. Hellbats against Locust, a strong choice, obviously, and unfortunately, the Locust cannot hit the battle cruisers. Did they kill anything? Oh my god. Oh my god. Locusts don't count as units lost. I guess technically they don't cost anything. He's only killed 1 Hellion. The battlecruisers jump into another Nidus. Maru. Well, apparently this is when Hellbats shine. Early game, shut down by Queens, but as they get those upgrades, and as part of a stronger unit composition, they don't cost any gas. And they have a lot of armor as well. So, even against the Locusts, well, Dark tried with the Nidus. He's got creep more than halfway across the map. Hellions back in Hellion mode. Does he have smart servos? Not yet, but he can always transform. The Locust heading in, trying to drop in, maybe get a tank. Yeah, gets a tank, but more damage from tanks than from Locusts there. Staggering the Locust. Let's try to get something done. He gets 2 tanks for essentially nothing. Now, of course, nothing in that if Maru just sits there and doesn't do anything, then eventually he'll break through. But Maru has 96 SCVs, which is arguably too many. Battlecruiser sliding towards the south. Now the Queens, oh no, Brenda. Susan, I told you to creep spread to all the bases. That includes the 7th. I can't count that high. Oh god, the Yamato's cull the queens. Of course, tactical jump is still online, so the best the queens can do is severely discourage the battlecruisers from sticking around. I thought Dark might have a nice, unique take on this. But so far, Maru is in complete command of this game. His battle cruisers control the skies. It is just so much. Some good Locust drops here. Micro to maximize damage on the tanks. A huge round of Banelings. The Planetary will go down. Another command center right next to it, not canceled. The battle cruisers are still going. Targeting the evolution chambers. Jumps away. Behind the Ravagers. They retreat to the Nidus. Ellie oops the corrosive vials and knocks down a cruiser. At least he gets something. One for the road. Dark. Nidus to the north. +1 infantry armor denied. And it took me a second to realize why that was something that could be denied at this stage. Ghosts are on the field. Maru is buffing up those ghosts. Meanwhile, Dark is going for everything. And what do I mean by that? Ultralisk Cavern, Greater Spire, Adrenal Glands, Ultras, Broodlords, Zerglings, all getting the treatment here, as Dark is trying everything. Maru's actually taking a bruising here. I'm just like looking at this like Maru is holding, but Dark is making things happen. The battle cruiser still the basis of this defense, but overall, Dark is still putting the pressure on. I'm projecting some of my own frustration with this unit composition. But Dark, on the other hand, is continually grinding away at Maru's defenses. The unit's loss getting a lot closer to even as the swarm hosts continue to find value. Dropping just a chunk of the Locust to try to draw the tank-friendly fire, while still overwhelming the Hellbats. Another knight is down. The battlecruisers almost feel like a wave defense part of the map, like we're playing Heroes of the Storm. Rest in peace. Reynor calling in those battle cruisers. They just kind of go down a lane and eventually teleport out, and then 90 seconds later they do it all again. Yamato, but the Queen's knocked down a cruiser. Finally some vengeance. Dark is taking essentially the rest of his half the map. Another wave of locusts flung out. And so far the swarm hosts have been untouched. The ghosts haven't been able to close the distance. The Hellbats essentially... Oh my god, he's body blocking the locusts away from the tanks with the Hellbats. Of course, that opens up an opportunity for the Lings and Banes to come in towards the north again. Dark rolling through. The ghost still intact, but Maru loses another planetary. Dark just keeps smashing into the fourth. Objective gaming. Ultralisk speed is on the way. He already got chitinous plating a while ago. But Ultras with this many ghosts on the field are a little optimistic. Corrosive Biles, even some Medivacs explicit... Well, Medivacs also heal Hellbats. I was going to say explicitly for the ghost, but not. Maru. Sorry. I'll be the one choking, neither of these players. The friendly fire from the tanks almost killing some ghosts. Dark is dismantling this unit composition. Just so many Banelings. If he ever does one or two ill-fated attacks where he just kind of loses and doesn't kill the base, well, that can turn around. Dark is spending all his money on this. But so far, Maru is starting to mine out. He's essentially mined out of the main. the natural is not far behind. And if he doesn't have the 4th, he's just not going to be able to replenish his army. The orbital is actually a better choice here. He's able to lift it instead of eventually dying to mainline. 14 more SCVs down as Dark's overwhelming swarm continues to whittle away at Maru's position. Maru has... He's almost got 3-3 done here. Here comes some banelings. Trying to close the distance. How well are they doing? Pretty good. Maru deciding he needs something more. He needs more position on the map. Locust into the main. A few of the swarm hosts wandering in to the 3rd base as well. The Locust gonna take out a factory. Already got a barracks. Starting to work on the production. Actually gets a Nidus as well. The Queen's at the front. The Ghosts need to respond. The Snipes on the way out. Some of the Queens go down. The Nidus will complete. Dark not committing anything to it. He's working whatever angle Maru moves too far to the left. He hits to the right. Oh, but the Cloak Ghost! The firing squad! Oh, no! The Swarm Host sniped. Caught unaware for just a few moments. They get a last round of Locust, but now he's lost. Well, he lost 9 of them. He is down to 7. Honestly, they've done quite well. Jumps battlecruisers into his own main to deal with the Nidus. No ship weapons upgrades, so the battlecruisers' non-Yamato attacks are pretty mediocre now against the +3 or +2 armor of the Zerg, not +3. Dark has all the options open, but continues on this Ravager Baneling. As against a heavy ghost-based composition, a mass of units that can't be sniped, or at least aren't as efficient, is almost always superior to some handful of very strong units. Gets another tank. So essentially the game will come down to whether Maru gets another base. Maru has held his 4th now. But if he's able to get any more bases, Dark will run out of money. I'm pretty confident in saying. Because right now Maru has that death blow. He's got 14 ghosts. He's got 8 tanks. He's filling in Hellbats. Dark has been pretty cost effective for what he has, but he's starting to be very gas ineffective. It's not as bad as I thought looking at the units lost, to be honest. Maru hasn't maxed out, maybe at any point. Roaches, Lings, and Banes from the right flank. The Ghosts retreating. Even if they cloak, the Ghosts still vulnerable to Banelings. Striking back the Snipes. The Roaches don't turn tail in time. Maru decides this is about as good as it's gonna get. Dark is doing too well. He goes straight across the center. Few Spore Crawlers to slow him down. How many Banelings? There are 0 Banelings. I take it back. There are 41 Banelings being produced. The Banelings are everything. A wave of Locusts. Dark has to buy time. Ravagers just kind of getting caught at the back. The Ghosts are most of the army here. The Banelings are finishing. The Swarm Hosts are getting a little bit in the way. Banelings dealing that extra damage. Trying to roll through. Detection. Closing in. Snipes on the Banes and Roaches. Pretty much snipes on whatever he can get. And Dark is plummeting in supply, but so is Maru. A devastating fight on both sides. Retreating into the Nidus network, maybe. The Ghost still holding. Roaches in production. Waiting for another round of Locusts. There's no anti-air for the battlecruisers. 39 kills. 37 kills. Another wave of Locusts. The Ghosts are running out of energy. The Banelings closing in. Just +1 armor. The Ghosts are there for their abilities. Corruptors in production. Maru, minimal economy now, but Dark still can't quite put together the army to deal with this. The battlecruiser's uncontested. Gets the hatchery. Ghost picked up into the medevacs. Dark still has 69 drones, which is nice enough. Corruptors being produced. +3 air is on the way. He hasn't really built any air, but he knew at some point he might need it. Corruptors on the field. Yamato on cooldown. Might be time to just jump. Yeah, without any ship weapon upgrades, the battlecruisers can't really touch the Corruptors. A few Locusts. Maru driven back yet again. This is the closest I've ever seen anyone get to actually grinding down Maru's Ghost Army, especially without a huge lead in the early game. The Swarm Host seemed to be the ticket. It's still... So Dark didn't die, and Maru is still okay. Dark lost a lot of... He lost his economy, he lost some expensive units, but so did Maru. Dark has lost 3,000 more gas, 4,000 more minerals. He's mined about that much as well. More than Maru. Rebuilding the Swarm House. 14 Swarm Hosts on the field. Some Zerglings. The creep is spreading onto his natural. Alright. Where do we go from here? Dark is still replenishing. Maru is still struggling to get anywhere closer to maxing out. The Corruptors have been mixed in. The Battlecruisers have held it down. The Hellbats were pretty clumped up, but are able to spread in time, even on creep. And the tanks take out many of the Banelings. Speaking of Banelings, into the 5th, SCV's on the run, cancels the command center preemptively. The Ghosts are able to retreat. Another wave of Locusts. Maru scrambling to get whatever resources he can, and Dark is still holding. Dark has recovered. He's reconsolidated his army. He does such a great job at that. He's so flexible. He's so chill. Most players would either tilt or panic or essentially desperately try to base trade. But Dark lost everything up to his natural. But he managed to hold. He rebuilt everything. And now some of it just got sniped out. And the army of Maru is still incredibly difficult to deal with. Dark has to wait for multiple waves of... Oh no, Banelings attacking the rocks. The classic mistake. Not gonna... Dark still has all of the bases on the right side of the map. He's got a rich Vespine geyser. The income, well, has turned to the dark side. But Maru stands. Yes, he's forced to picking up the tanks, unsieged. Of course, to help deal with the Locusts. Maru is so goddamn hard to kill at this stage. He's making a Raven because the creep spread is so oppressive. But Dark is working off of 2/3 of the map. It's not a half-map scenario. Maru still cannot max out. A jump to deal with Banelings. Some tanks. Those are +3 Banes. Another tank taken out. The battlecruisers won't kill these in time. Things are getting even more dramatic. That's so many Banelings out of Dark. Oh, whoa, whoa, Maru! Still clumped up here. Banelings killing tanks. The Ghosts. This just kind of all piled in here. And with the Corruptors taking out the battlecruisers, the snipes are good. Oh, the Corruptors knocked down. The battlecruisers removed. Has he done it, though? The battlecruisers were what... The mobile defense. That was... The technicality that was keeping Dark from overrunning bases. Yes, they don't do damage that quickly, but there was nothing to contest them. Scans, spotting the army. The problem is Dark still has 68 drones. And he's still mining. From the bottom right base, the rich Vespine base. Maru would love to get a hold of that. Another wave of Locusts. Nothing's cheaper than free. Lings and Banes and Maru. is in the desert, drowning. That doesn't make any sense, but we are underwater. 30 SCVs down. His economy, he has 3 SCVs left. It's over. Check and mate. Dark has done it. No. If he didn't break through with 170 to 190 supply, he's not doing it 90 to 190. That's it. Maru is dead. We just have to wait for the funeral. Dark has survived. The okay. Alright, Maru. It's time. Dark's going to match point. What a display. 40,000 minerals. 13,000 gas. He wielded. This is on paper how you're supposed to do it. A lot of people say, how do you stop that army composition? How do you stop the death ball of ghosts and mech? And the answer comes back, condescendingly, patronizingly. Don't let them get there. But here is Dark. He did not let him get there. What a display. That is the patience, the sheer patience against that army. I don't know how you learn that. I don't know, literally no one else. Reynor, maybe Serral on a good day. He just waited him out. He never took one of those fights where he tried to drive the stake already all the way into his heart. No. He had an objective, and he stuck with it. The objective, deny as many bases as you can. Starting with the 4th. Don't try to kill him. You're not going to kill him. But deny the base. Force his army to be stretched too thin. And then hit him where he's weak. Now, you might need a break after that game. I might. But the show must go on. Game 6. No. 5. Dark 3. Maru just 1. Wow. That was an exhausting game. But Dark is just so... Jimmy, can we bring up the card again? He's just so efficient. He knows where to hit him where it hurts. I do think that is the fatal flaw of many top-tier players, is overcommitting. Is smelling blood in the water and feeling like it's time to lay it down. I think Dark is fully prepared for every game he plays to be an hour long. Like, you have to go in expecting to take an hour to win the game. And then be pleasantly surprised when it doesn't. It's a Zen monk mindset. Looks like we're going to start off. No proxy racks out of Maru on match point. No early pull out of Dark. We're on inside and out. A decidedly smaller map. Ooh. I'm not even sure what Maru did wrong. That's the beauty of it too. Like, a lot of the time, you can point to, that was an overcommitment. I guess the Swarm hosts are the answer. It was directly into mech. A lot of the times, we see that sort of ghost army. Even with the Battlecruiser opener, it can be bio. It can be the Marine Marauder timing. as a follow-up with the battlecruiser just kind of gaining map control early. Even the early time, I guess the battlecruiser jump in with the Hellions. By the way, that the Queens just kind of stopped it. The Queens just split a little and shut down the battlecruiser. If Maru, okay, Maru. If Maru had jumped in towards the main, like gone for the drones, maybe that could have set the tone, but the game was far too long to pin it on any one thing. Alright, what do we have here? A bunch of Marines early, no Hellions at all. I lied, now some Hellions, but something of a Widow Mine drop opener. Or at least something different. I'm not sure exactly what to make of this. There's a Roach Horn on the way. No third command center is the very key point. A Roach Horn is in production. I'm not sure if this is a response or if this is the intent. But for Maru, actually, this is going to work out well. It looks like Dark is planning. He wants to win this tournament with a Roach Ravagerling all in. Something that requires getting damage done and is deadly against something like a 3cc build, especially unscouted. But awkwardly for Dark is his timing will be well after there's already this early aggression out of Maru, which should be scout. There's no better way to scout your opponent than be up in their grill, in their base, killing their drones. Another downside for Dark is he doesn't have nearly as many queens. He's got 5 queens, but you don't spam queens like you would in a more macro-oriented build. He's building the roaches, which will force him to back off. Was there a cancel on the Raven? Immediately goes for the Banshee. Bunker at the front. The wall is not yet complete, but that should notify him of this situation. Roaches on their way across the map. The Banshee is halfway done. Third command center. Still goes for the third CC, but Hellions. Oh my god, it's Hellion tight, but not Roach tight. Which, I mean, is one of the weirder t-shirt sizes, but I don't question things, and I also don't know how that works. Do you want it Hellion tight or Roach tight? It's like, those are the same thing. One of them is just metric. Oh, this did not go well for Dark. He's got a few drones back at home, but make no mistake, this is full momentum to Maru. His kind of off-tempo Marine timing here, combined with the starport before 3rd CC, now puts Dark on the back foot. This gives Maru plenty of space to get that 3rd CC safely. He's already gone for the double engineering bay here. And with it, he should be able to set himself up for a solid... Wait, is he going... Oh, he's already got stim. Wow, he's already got stim. I said, is he just going to walk across with combat shield? Unstim Marines? No. Dark, 62 drones. He just manages to get this drone count up so quick. He's rushing lair, skipping Evo chambers. I imagine that's for Roach speed. Maybe he goes Infestors? Oh my god. Infestation Pit. Wow, okay. Alright. Interesting. Marine drop on the right flank. Double Evo chamber, but the engineering bays are already spun up. Maru denies the 4th base. He's already got it. By the way, Maru already has his 3rd. Queens have managed to gun down the medevac. Road speed is on the way. I don't know. What is this infestation pit for? It's not a swarm host situation. Maybe he thought it might be mech, though. Yes, no swarm host from here. Rushing into Hive. Dark with only 64 drones, getting his 4th now. Once again, the glaring weakness here of Dark's army is going to be the anti-air. The lack of ability to deal with medevacs, whether they are with the army or if they're going for drops. A head-on fight, Roach Ravager may be able to contest. But once the medevacs start flying, things get a lot more difficult. Alright. Well, here's the fight. Tanks. +1/1 is already done. Ravager is well spread. Marines and Marauders into the heart of the swarm. And that is the only place that Dark was going to win a fight. Well, oh my god. Do not underestimate the power of upgrades. Maru is just grinding the point home. No, never mind. I take it all back. Drugs, guns, and 1/1. That's all you need here. Wow, Dark just doesn't have enough. Roach Ravager needs overwhelming strength to deal with this bio army, and it just didn't have it. Maru understanding. This is why that game 1 was so surprising. When Maru stood his ground and failed, that was the upgrade difference. And this, once again, the upgrade difference. Dark has lost this fight. Yes, he may eventually hold, but this was a loss for Dark. It's not going to get better. Maru starts 2-2. 1-1 finished, but for melee attack. Is there a Baneling nest? Yes. Is there Baneling speed? No. Maru scans like, did I miss something? Is there another 4th? No. Dark is on 3 bases. He's got a hive. But he's down in workers, and he's down in army supply against a Terran with better upgrades. This is going to take a combination of great plays and big mistakes out of Dark and Maru, respectively. Because otherwise, Maru should be able to just essentially a move over. Banelings. Baneling speed. I don't know. This army's just way better. Even without the 2-2. Oh, a lot of Zerglings coming in. Yeah, Maru getting caught a little off guard. Dark has not built much in the way of drones. Just Zerglings, adding some Vipers on. 2-2 is about to finish for Maru though. More tanks being added in. All these delaying actions out of Dark have been helpful, but Maru has now lost a significant amount of units. Stuttering the Marines back. Marauders holding their ground. Spray and pray on the corrosive bile. The tank's still going to work. +1 mech weapons is on the way. Nearly completed. Baneling speed is closing in, but there's precious few Banelings to deal with. Maru tearing through everything. The Baneling speed completes. Maru stims forward, not back. Reinforcements are actually just stimming through the center. Corrosive bile not nearly enough to slow Maru down. The tanks will siege. The Vipers are out. The last gasp. A blinding cloud. 2 Gs. And Maru holds. Maru with a classic timing. Dark attempted the Roach all-in, but he went up against the aggression of Maru. And in that trade-off, did not get what he was looking for. So Maru, Maru's been probably in more finals than any player in StarCraft 2 history. You might think about Serral, or like MVP. I bet, including GSL, Maru has been in more major tournament finals than anyone else. Though we did not check the numbers beforehand. More of a feeling thing. But Maru's been playing StarCraft 2 professionally since the age of 13 in GSL, and believe 2011. So, if you don't feel old yet, well, back in my day, you had to install StarCraft 2 with a CD-ROM. And I bet you guys did too. So, hopefully that does it. Tropical Sacrifice. That's it. That's the name of the map. Beautiful map. Who will be the sacrifice today? Can Dark close it out? Or will Maru strike back yet again? Maru has moved away from the proxy Rex meta, the proxy factory meta. There's been different phases of StarCraft 2. Maru has led the charge with SCVs across the map in many different ways. An exhausting series. I hope you guys have enjoyed my commentary. If this does end up being the last match, smash that like button. I've got a playlist of all the best Dreamhack Valencia matches. And if you are looking for especially major tournaments, I like to make a playlist for each of those as well. But also the pro game casting playlist where I try to show you some great games. From tournaments all the way from your weekly cups to the World Finals. So I do hope you enjoy. Otherwise, it'd be kind of sad. So, validate. Command center on the way. Here we go again. Hatch first against One Rax Expand. Marine first this time. I think last game was Marine first as well. Maru. A variety of openers. Still the same trajectory to many of them, but with that 3cc Terran. But starting to add in a little extra detail. Important to keep Dark guessing as well. You don't want to let Dark take back the initiative. Second gas before third CC. So maybe Maru liking this early aggression route. Something to keep Dark busy and not let him just take full map control. It's not a huge commitment to get the second gas before the third CC, but obviously it does slow you down. Overlord wandering in. Oh, what is going on here? Yeah. Some Terrazine in that ziggurat over there. Anybody gets a hold of that? Feels like a bit of an unfair advantage. Of course, they both have one because the map is symmetrical, but... I do wish, like, takes once a series, okay? We're going to talk about... We already talked about the map design of StarCraft 2, but I would love to see... There's a map called Fruitland. In the Team Liquid map contest once, where instead of destructible rocks, there was a huge lemon. Okay. And then, of course, there were varied fruits around. But you could destroy the huge lemon, and if you mined it, you got a lemon slice, which you could bring back to your command center. You had to mine it with, like, an SCV. You bring back to your command center worth 500 minerals. So, fighting over the lemon slices. Is there anything more zesty than that? I would love to see some objectives and stuff like that, but that, of course, would bring up the balance complaints of, like, well, not everyone can lift their command centers closer to the lemon slice kind of complaints. So I would still... You know what? Maybe once we finally have a bit of a break between all these great pro games, we do some show matches, some tournaments, and stuff like that on some of these more fun maps. I do want to see more of them. It's just so many good games. You can only post so many or YouTube hates you. Alright, drop in the back. Maru with a Widowmine Marine play. Dark. His Zergling count not where it needs to be to deal with the Hellions in the third. There's not that many drones here. Widowmine drop was driven out. The Hellions are driving out. 2 drones is the total cost. No third command center, though, for Maru. That money went into 2 additional racks. Medevac drop flying back. The Overlord just hanging out near the Ewok party with the head of a Marine. Anyways, that's what the Tropical Sacrifice is all about. Widowmine slams into the Overlord, but that means the Zerglings will be able to overwhelm the Marines. The Widowmine slurped up into the medevac just in time. Raven auto turret harassing. Check that off your bingo cards. +1 attack is on the way. Dark is at 48 rounds, adding on 9 more. Does he have a lair? No, not even started. Looks to remedy that now. At this point, I don't think Dark realizes Maru's intent. As he's still building drones, he's adding on more gas gathers, going above 60 drones against someone. Now this is a timing attack / all-in, as we've been going over this whole time. But 5 wrecks. Still building SCVs. I thought he might stop building SCVs. But 5 racks production on 2 base. No third command center. Dark is at 63 drones, which is a big commitment with minimal units. There's 7 queens. He's building 30 more lings. The Baneling nest is not done. 1-1, though, is finishing up very soon. He may have to give up the 4th, but I don't think Dark necessarily will have to give up any more than that. He cannot hold this without Banelings. +1 and combat shield aren't yet done, but he's going to try to hold it without Banelings. The Widowmine will burrow. The Widowmine gets a big chunk. Also hits some of the Marines. Did he hold it without Banelings, or is Mo just going to rotate around? +1 and combat shield not done. That was the best opportunity to get damage done. The Queen's still looking for the medevacs. Banelings morphing. Alright, so Dark drives it back for now. Baneling speed is on the way. Baneling speed probably the most relevant upgrade past the basic ones. Also gives the Banelings +5 HP. Maru was driven back, but continues to stream Marines across the map. Zerglings looking to cut off the reinforcements, but down goes the 4th hatchery. Driving up in, this little valley here in between the bases. No Baneling speed means Maru makes easy pickings. A few auto turrets to help zone out and add damage. The Queens deal with them. Zerglings still trying to cut off reinforcements. Banelings morphing behind the lines. That tank tucked in behind the trees. Where's my small trees mod? The Queen... The entire Queen Moot is here to try to deal with it. Starting to run low on energy, but the transfuses are holding the line for now. Dark, still 15 or so seconds on Baneling speed. Maru knows he's on the clock here. He has no 3rd command center. Baneling speed 10 seconds out. Down goes the Raven. How many Banelings will be left over, though? The Marine count is getting too damn high. At some point, even on creep, the Banelings aren't going to be able to hit it up Marines, and the Terran army is just too strong! There's so much Terran! Oh, God! They're everywhere! And Maru brings us to Game 7. He does it. Oh, Maru. Oh, Maru. A strong 2-base timing. And Dark just gets a little bit too greedy, a little bit too late on the lair tech. These 1-1-1 medevac timings are keeping Dark on his tippy toes. And the Queens can't balance there very comfortably. So Game 7 of Dreamhack Valencia 2022. The Grand Finals. Back to Korea versus Korea. Who will win? And who will go home disappointed? Thank you, Serral, for allowing us to see this match. Let us see the epic conclusion to what has been an incredibly epic series. Game 7. Every map. Stargazers is our final one. Oh God, Maru. I can't believe it. Time for the classic commentary. The Reddit level comment. How does he even sit in the booth with balls this big? Game 7. It's been like an hour and a half. And he proxy rexes. On a map where you can essentially, as Terran, get a free expand at the back pocket. A full base, even if there are a few minerals you have to mine through first. Oh, Maru. Never change. Dark will scout it, but not particularly quickly. He didn't build too many drones before the pool either. He actually built the pool, I think, on 16 or 17, right after the hatch. But he also looks like he wants that third base. All right. Oh, wait. Oh, my God. Oh. He saw an SCV. There's a weird, like... Well. If he didn't know before, I think 2 SCVs are going to give it away. And here we go. The bunker starts. The Overlord on the run. Killing the Overlord would really hamstring the whole build, but he's going to go for the hatchery first and make sure he can body block out. Here comes Maru. It's just a 2-rax. Back at home, well, Dark has an Overlord hanging out, watching to see if there's a follow-up. I say just a 2-rax because that means Maru can follow it up with a factory. Dark, in all his chillness, decides instead of pulling drones, he's just going to build the Zerglings, rally them up to the high ground. He may even give up the base. He's canceling. I think that was an Overlord. The Queen is going to come out. He may use the Lings to box out for it. Yeah, Queen pops out. Maru going to try to chase it. Oh, I was hyping this all up, but Dark's like, yeah, okay, fine. All right, whatever. Sure. But, he can get the hatchery, but Dark already has another hatch finishing, which is the unique aspect of this map. And now, I don't think Maru's going to go up the ramp. He's building drones on the grave of the hatchery. I don't know. Is this worth it? Well, we're gonna find out. Is this the correct response? The barracks is floating in for vision to see if the Marines... The creep tumor, though, casually placed down by that Queen. I can't imagine. For both these players, one, Maru in Game 7, proxy rexing, risking it all. And then Dark making the immediate call to just give up the hatch. Did he see the Marines leave? He knows there's only one Marine in the bunker. He's just gonna fight. Bunker is salvaged. 25 mineral restocking fee. Another medevac coming out. It served Maru in the early game so well in the last couple games. It brought us to this Game 7. But the medevac gonna try to pass the mineral wall. Not even a nuke can take those out. So this is awkward because the Marines can drop on the other side of the mineral wall. And that means the Zerg... Whoa, but the Queens have already done so much damage to the medevac. He's gonna try to get that last Marine out. Was it really worth it? A big game needed an evac. Couldn't fit any more Marines in it. He saves one. The medevac coming home. He's building an orbital, long distance mining from it. The medevac at one queen hit away. The barracks burning on its way home. But everything's still intact for now. Viking takes out the only overlord able to spot. You can actually fit both their bases on a single screen here, barely. That's how close the air distance is. And that's how valuable the watchtower, of course, can be. Dark has reestablished that front base. Indignantly. Viking on deck. We're gonna have to yell at each other over the... Oh my god, he's using... Okay. Okay, Maru. Well, you deserve that one. Yeah. You deserved that one. You filthy Terran. God. He tried to friendly fire the Viking to kill the creep tumor, doing so much damage to the Viking that the queens reach out over the minerals and knock it out of the sky. Because, of course, he did. That was quite an own goal out of Maru for Game 7. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I'm just role-playing choking. Because I'm inspired by Maru's plays. Well, those Hellions did no damage. Ah. Now where are we? It's Roaches up against a 2-base timing, but with 3 CCs on the way. So kind of a macro timing. He's got Stim, +1 is finishing. But unlike the previous Roach versus Bio exchange, this time Dark has a good economy. He's got good map control. And Maru is going to be forced to do some pinpoint drop micro just to get anything done. This isn't a, I have a better army and I can just bash your head in. No. This is Maru just trying to outmaneuver the Roaches, which is really all you can do at this stage. The double drop. The Ravagers probably aren't going to be enough here on their own. The 4th base is vulnerable. The Corrosive Biles actually land on the medevac, but he does get the cancel on the 4th. Very importantly, objective complete. Combat Shield finishing up. Same with Roach Speed over there. The Queen... Right now! One at a time! I told you guys, one at a time! You gotta put a quarter in, and then you can look at the watchtower. Okay? But only one of us. Otherwise, like, we're just gonna get killed by Marines. Ah. +1 Carapace finishing up. The Marines march. Oh, it's been an exhausting series. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Any one of these fights could end it. Or we could go another hour in this match. There's a lot of bases. There's the gold base to contest. Hive is on the way. Armory. We're spinning up the economy. 73, 62 workers. Dark is getting a 5th and a 4th. Marine taken out. Creep is spreading up towards Maru's natural. I wonder if anybody will take down those mineral walls. They have 40 minerals. More than even a mule can mine in a single time. That's completely intentional. Baneling speed is on the way. The medevac's forced to pick up before the queens do too much damage. The tank count is growing dramatically. And the tanks are going to be 150% required. As many as possible. against the Roach Ravager Baneling. +2, +2. Just now starting for Maru. +2 Carapace is well on the way alongside +1 melee for Dark. The Ravager Bane in the center of the map. Medivacs going every which way to try to avoid it. Maru back to divide and conquer. His best opportunity is keep Dark busy and try to keep him under control until he can max out and get 2-2. The 4th base on the way. Yeah, at least try to control the creep spread. The battle on the boardwalk here. Ultralisk Cavern on the way for Dark. He's maxed out. He's got Vipers in production. Dark at this point, he can do... Well, wow, there are rocks here, by the way. I've never seen anyone take these rocks out. I haven't seen that many games on this map yet, but this is the first one that's gotten this far. The creep tumors on the north side of it, the little platform here, in between everyone. Medevac's just boosting all over the place as Maru scrambles to keep Dark busy. He's taken the 4th a little further away. Doesn't want Dark to just be able to run in and blast apart his command center. Ghosts in production. Remember those? It's been a while. Wow, what a full... I think Dark has been happy to avoid the ghosts for most of this series. Oh my god, are those Dropper Lords? Is this what we're doing? I guess... Wow, this reminds me of like Wings of Liberty. Like, just the map back when you upgraded drop for all your overlords simultaneously. Season 1 GSL Finals, anyone? Fruit dealer? We are pretty fruit-based in this cast today. What's your favorite fruit? Hold that thought. Siege tanks. Blinding Cloud. The Ghost, not going to help too much. EMP gets the rest of the energy on those Vipers. Corrosive Biles. Drop at the back. Dark. Try to break through the front. Corrosive Bile doing a pretty good job. Another volley. But the main base is vulnerable. The one place the reinforcements are coming from. Maru's drops from out on the map come home to defend. Dark is already replenishing 80 more Zerglings. 80 more Zerglings. 3 Ultralists. Chitinous Plating. Burrow. Dark burrows some links. He picks up the rest. And overall, 18 SCVs. Oh, you can just drop it. I don't know if it's intentional. He noticed the burrow there, though. More Zerglings. Dark has money in the bank. He's ready to wind up for another attack. I see some blue. Oh my god, there's a Zergling burrowed back here. There's more burrowed on the ramp. They're everywhere. Maru. Oh, this is reminiscent of that Data C game where Dark just continues hammering the point home, whereas Maru scrambles to try to just max out. +3 attack is the only one on the way. Chitinous Plating about to finish here. And here comes Dark for another round. Looking for more. Sprinting in. The Ultralists leading the charge. Not nearly enough ghosts to deal with them, and by that I mean 0. Meanwhile, the unburrowed Zerglings to the north. Banelings crashing in, and Maru is coming apart. 42 SCVs, 60 supply. GG, Dark does it. The Dreamhack Valencia champion. Oh, overwhelming. The overwhelming Terran. He deserves this. That was a beautiful series out of Dark. Maru held his own, but Dark with some inspiring Zerg. The patience, the power, the confidence, the glory. 4-3 Dark. I hope you guys enjoyed my commentary. Congratulations to Dark. Oh, what an exhausting series. It'd be awesome if you enjoyed. Check out this video and others like it. Check out the whole Dreamhack Valencia playlist. We still have some of the highlights to go. And check out so much more. Thank you guys for watching. Good luck. Have fun. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Congratulations, Dark. Thank you for watching. Stay chill.